Every December in Sweden, a giant straw goat is erected, and people immediately make it their solemn mission to destroy it with fire. But this is not just a random festive arson. No, indeed, this particular goat had a history, or has a history, and it's a dark one. So yeah, today's jaunty little ramble takes us digging down into the sinister folklore of the Yule Goat, or as we say here in Sweden, Julbocken. And no, he absolutely did not start off as some very cute IKEA core decoration destined to be sacrificed into a flame every year. He just kinda ended up there. And how? Well, let's get into it. Long before our modern Santa, before Christmas trees, and before Mariah Carey and Wham gave us all seasonal PTSD, the goat was already there as an important part of winter celebrations. The Julbock's roots stretch as far back to pagan Scandinavia, when goats were strongly associated with Thor, the thunder god, and he famously rode across the sky in a chariot pulled by two mighty goats. These little goats weren't just pets, they were symbols of strength, fertility, and survival. During winter solstice rituals, goats were frequently yeeted into greener pastures, sent off to the gods to secure a good harvest the following year. Winter, as you can imagine, was deadly, extremely so, in these northern climates. You didn't just celebrate gently for the fun of it, you tried to survive by any means possible. Sacrifices and magic was the name of the game, and there would most definitely be blood. But returning to the goats then, in the middle of these horrifying rituals, the poor sacrificial goats were very much a symbol of hope for them too, for the coming year, since they were sacrificed for the harvest and all that fun things that people wanted into the year to come. And then jumping forward, Christianity arrived, as it usually did in Europe. They saw paganism and all that fun jazz thriving, and they had a giant, raging hate boner for it. And yeah, Christian history just did what it does. They chose to gaslight and manipulate. Modus operandi here, of course, was the usual. They tried switching up these pagan beliefs and festivities into something better, like celebrating Jesus Christus and all of that instead. But it wasn't an easy task. So old traditions, of course, weren't just erased, but rebranded. And in the middle of all that hullabaloo going on, you know, trying to make the pagans Christian and all that, pagan symbols were rebranded too. And they would either become sanctified or demonized. And the goat went straight into the villain arc. By the medieval period, we see Saint Nicholas, our pre-Santa figure, roaming the countryside around early December. But he wasn't alone. With him came a disturbing companion, a goat-like figure, sometimes described as chained. We could take a wild stab in the dark here and not even miss the mark in suggesting that he was meant to symbolize some sort of devil. And as Saint Nicholas was kindness himself, bringing gifts, the goat brought fear. This unholy bad cop, good cop situation is also believed to be the ancestor of another festive nightmare, Krampus, the goat man who punishes naughty children across Alpine folklore. And then, of course, we hop on a few centuries into the future there, and the Yule Goat, Julbocken, became interactive. In Sweden and surrounding regions, people began dressing up in terrifying costumes during Christmas, and these costumes were often monstrous goats. These groups of often rowdy men would knock on neighbors' doors, sing songs or perform little skits, and then demand gifts. And by gifts, I mean food, and by food, I most certainly mean alcohol. These people were utterly drunk. And the children in these houses that got these scary goat monsters coming over, well, they were understandably absolutely traumatized by this tradition. Sources describe the goat costumed visitors as extremely loud, aggressive, and not even a little bit of fun at all. It was less caroling and more festive horror, home invasion to steal thy spirit supply. Yeah. And then we have another fun little twist. In some places of Scandinavia through history, Julbocken, the Yule Goat, was actually Santa. Yeah. Before the jolly old man took over, it was actually this goat that would come home and deliver presents. Yeah. Into your cozy little family gathering, a scary goat man would come in to your home, of course, and hand out gifts. Yeah, who wouldn't like that? And even if most of Scandinavia has now accepted Santa, in northern parts of Finland, the tradition actually just lingered on much longer than it needed to. And beyond that scary goat Santa that would come along, families would keep small decorative goats in their homes. And they were actually not some cutesy ornament, but threats to thy children. If they misbehaved, the parents threatened them that the goat would come and gore them. Festive psychological warfare. As the modern Santa bulldozed his way through Christmas traditions worldwide, the Julbock was thoroughly sidelined, demoted from divine symbol and devilish partner and drunk menace into a cutesy little decoration, and today this small straw goat has become a very common sight in Scandinavian homes. And in Gävle, Sweden, they went even bigger. Much, much bigger. The Yule Goat, erected annually since the 1960s, is now internationally famous for one thing: being repeatedly burned down by absolute menaces. Some years it survives, and others it's not so lucky. Fences are built trying to protect, security try to guard, and even stay up as kind of night watchmen. But nothing can stop a person that really wants to be that guy or woman who sets it all ablaze. Yeah, so there we are. After thousands of years as a harvest symbol, a godly beast, a devil stand-in, child terrorizer, and gift bringer, even if a scary one, the Yule Goat's final form is just a giant straw effigy doomed for ritual destruction. Feels kinda oddly appropriate. So next time you're in Scandinavia and you see, or IKEA for that matter, and you see a little cute straw goat with red ribbons, remember, he once pulled Thor's chariot, scared children into obedience, and, well, symbolized the devil himself. Festive. Ain't that just the Christmas spirit? Stay hydrated, stay amazing, but most of all, stay morbid. And I'll see you soon. Bye bye!